you. This righteous view, man. It's different, man. It's provocative, man. I mean, I don't even know what that means. It gets the people going.
Let me tell you something. We about to go stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid. 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 This shit we be on stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid. This shit I'm blowing on stupid, fruity. Stupid, fruity. If it ain't DR, she right Gucci, stupid. I'm Louis, stupid. All about my check and I go stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid. Lord.
They blood out like he Putin. Nigga thugged out like he Putin. Ain't a coot nigga, can't scoop me. I hear the hate loud, call it rootin'. Dodo bird, a real extra bitch. Feeding around in a dumb whip. Push start, banana split. Dior bag, hold an extra clip. Cuff a rap nigga, extra drip. Then stack with him, extra flips. Florida water, real loony bitch. Purse Gucci, no dooney bitch. Pussy talk, no rumor-ish. On a whole head like a tumor sick. Shots fired, I don't miss. I'm the definition of a real bitch.
Stupid, 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 stupid. This shit I'm blowing on stupid, fruity. Stupid, fruity. If it ain't DR, she right Gucci, stupid. I'm Louis, stupid. All about my check and I go stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid. I'm in a two-seater, my cup till no hangovers on me. We gon' trap by your new phone wheel. We in a Range Rover, no heat. Take out Mac, can't wait next year. Roll that out, I'ma cover my ear. I'm too high, so don't come near. If it ain't on me right here. Got a house pride, got pills on my drive like we're broke way too long, main reason I don't love be spinning. Took it out last year, now back up. Both on your main, now she stuck. I don't do favors and don't trust luck. I'm pulling up if it's by the bus. This shit we be on stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid. This shit I'm blowing on stupid, fruity. Stupid, fruity. If it ain't DR, she right Gucci, stupid. I'm Louis, stupid. All about my check and I go stupid, stupid. Stupid, stupid.
What's up, what's up, what's up, guys? Welcome to class, guys. Come on in, hit that like button. Do keep in mind, guys, that we don't cater to any groups, gangs, communities, or religions. We cater to the truth, and we cater to common sense, guys. We don't complicate common sense over here, guys. Those of you that's new, come on in. Come in as you are, guys. Don't be freaked out. I do not bite. I do not bite. Over here, guys, we start out with a little warm-up, guys. So we definitely gonna put in a little warm-up. You know what I mean? We're gonna put a little warm-up in. Let's go straight on into the warm-up, guys.
They want me to do the 20 verse 1 in Atlanta with the sisters. What do y'all think about that, y'all? They want me to do the 20 versus 1 show where they bring 20 queens out. They bring 20 queens out and I pick the queens I like, and then it's a round 2 and a round 3. But my problem with the 20 versus 1 is this. My problem with the 20 versus 1, how do I know everybody is a biological woman? That's my problem with the Atlanta 20 versus 1. Atlanta is Transformer Central. Atlanta is Transformer Central. Atlanta is How do I know all 20 of those queens are organic women?
Lord heavens.
How do I know that? That's my problem. You can't even check the birth certificate because they can change the birth certificate too. So I don't really know. This could be a COINTELPRO operation. If we're going to do this, I need proof that these were biological queens. I need to see baby pictures. I need to see baby pictures, elementary school pictures, middle school pictures, and high school prom pictures. I need to see pictures from every stage of their life. All 20 of them got to be thick in the thighs and natural hair. All 20 of them got to be thick in the thighs and natural hair. They could be 5 thick in the thighs, 4, 12 thick in the thighs, 6, 1 thick in the thighs, and the hair.
since the beginning of ancient times, you know, men were set to provide and protect. Women were set to bear the children and take care of the household. So in modern day, I mean, when it comes to women, you have to just understand that they want a guy that could take care of them. That's the way it is.
A lot of women complain about being objectified sexually, right? But do you think that women objectify men financially and do the same thing?
Yeah.
So how is that different than like just loose? How's that not prostitution in a way?
Oh, because let me think. Let me answer that. Yeah.
How she can't answer that?
Okay, let me just say, I'm a preacher's kid, and as a kid, your daddy tell you like, when my daddy always tell me, if he can't afford to take you out for a steak dinner, he ain't the man for you. Y'all put that shit in our head since forever. When men take their daughters like to get their nails done and they pedicures, they take them on like daddy-daughter dates. First thing they say is, I want to teach her how a man should treat her. Exactly. So that prostitution, since I was a little girl, you've been teaching me that a man should court me and date me a certain kind of way. I feel like, of course, I feel like it's only prostitution if we make a deal like, oh, it's $400 to fuck me. No, if I'm telling you, oh, you have to do this, then the third, that's because I came from a household where my daddy did it. So when my daddy passed me on to the next man, that means you can take care of me. Prostitution is when you put it on the ground and I put it there.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm glad we clear that up.
Okay.
Now my question is, okay, a lot of women nowadays say they want a guy who's a sugar daddy.
I got a sugar daddy.
Do you think it's hypocritical for parents to advise their sons to avoid gold diggers, but advise their daughters to find a man who will know how to take care of them? Do you think that's fair advice?
Should be independent, whether it's a female or a boy. A daughter or a son, you should teach your kids how to be independent. Right.
For the women who say, like, you know, I'm a strong, independent woman, right? Mm-hmm. If women are so strong and independent, why does the pressure of marriage and commitment typically come from women?
Because it's all a facade. It's not real. I mean, look, you can sit there and act like you're the most confident, independent person in the world, but if your parents are still picking up your tab for college, your apartment, your car payment, your insurance, are you really an independent, strong woman? Probably not.
So, in your opinion, what is the difference between a man who spoils his woman and a man who's whipped?
Oh, whipped? Okay, so you can spoil your woman and have that respect level, have that aggression. Like, I've been spoiled by a man, and it's like, you know, he kind of got me a check a little bit. Like, I know what I can and cannot say to him. I know I can't run over him. He has that respect level. Whipped is just like, bitch. No, Brandon's whipped. Brandon is definitely whipped. I have a boyfriend that's whipped. He let me do whatever the fuck I want to do, have sugar daddies. But spoiled is, I can still be you. You take care of me, but I would never disrespect him. Yeah, because you know your ass might get cut out.
Why is it okay for some women to expect a man to still do traditional manly things like fix stuff and pay bills, protect, provide, but the minute he expects her to cook and clean traditional woman things, that's seen as sexist?
I think that's one of those things also just depends on the particular parties involved. I mean, obviously the way that you grew up or what you saw in your household growing up is going to determine whether you see that as something that's normal or taboo, you know what I mean? So if you, say you were raised by two lesbian moms and then you marry a dude who expects you to freaking cook and clean and do all this stuff all the time, they probably were trying to make you, a strong, independent woman because you didn't have that necessarily like father figure in your life. So I think it really just depends on the circumstances that you grew up in.
If there was one thing that you wish more women understood about men, what would that be?
To be honest, that we want just more than one of you. Like, we can't be confined, and it's just, we're going to keep circling right back around trying to do the same concepts of monogamy. I don't really believe in monogamy. I feel like men are naturally polygamous.
If there was one thing that you wish
we'll play that back, guys.
Understood about men, what would that be?
To be honest, that we want just more than one of you. Like, we can't be confined, and it's just, we're going to keep circling around trying to do the same concepts of monogamy. I don't really believe in monogamy. I feel like men are naturally polygamous, and that's why it doesn't work. It's just, you try to tie us down into a domestic relationship, and we act like that's what we want, and that's what we're satisfied, and we have to play a cat and mouse dance and lie and tell you, but secretly when you walk away, oh, there's nothing over here and over there. And we end up getting in trouble and then we end up losing our women, and that's why divorce rate is so high, I believe.
Why do you think that there are some men who struggle with commitment?
Because they're broke as fuck, and they're lame as fuck, and they're gay as fuck. Next question.
What was surprising to you? Something that you learned about men in your experiences, just dealing with men, dating, relationships.
There's no such thing as a loyal man. Every man cheats.
So do you think that men are only as loyal as their options?
Yep. Yeah,
Do you think that people are just only as loyal as their options, including women as well?
Yep, I think so too. Yeah.
Men are biologically disgusting and they're biologically liars. It takes the right woman to come into their life and mold their bitch ass.
Oh no, even when the right woman come in their life, they still cheat. Because they're dumb as fuck.
They wait until they know they about to lose that one and
they want to cry and shit.
Don't cry. Do you think? Okay, tell me this. Do you think you were talking about cheating, right? When somebody cheats on their lover, right? Do you typically blame the one who cheats or the one who drove the other one to cheat?
At the same time, it takes two. You feel me? So you obviously doing something that made me cheat. I ain't gonna cheat with the bottom of the barrel. I'm gonna cheat on somebody that's better than you.
Why didn't you just leave? Nobody can make you cheat.
You right.
Who do you think kind of sets the rules in relationships? You know, the boundaries.
It depends on the kind of relationship.
Do you think it's true that the one who loves the other one less is the one who has the control in a relationship?
I never thought about that. I don't think so, but sometimes kinda.
Sometimes kind of? Okay.
Yeah. But like toxic, but
What are the characteristics of a toxic person?
ooh, someone who makes you feel guilty or bad about things that you shouldn't feel bad about.
A lot of guys are just more thirstier than females are. Females will rather seek out their options, and they have a lot of options. So they piggyback off of different guys. It's just the truth, man. I've seen it myself.
Okay. And doesn't having more options in dating give women the privilege of being more picky?
Hell, half the time they don't even have to be picky. You know, but the options give them an opportunity to see exactly what they want and to fulfill their needs at that time. So if they have more options, they're able to fulfill their needs a lot faster.
Do you think women are biologically driven to seek out the highest value man they can attract, specifically the best protector and provider?
Yes.
So that's biological, that's in their DNA, right?
Right. That's every woman is like that. Every woman is in their DNA. Every woman wants the best option she could possibly find. You know, physically, you know, society has made us think that the dad bod is a thing. No, girls like guys with abs, guys with nice bodies. You know, it's all propaganda. So they want the best option they could possibly find, the most money, whatever.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, that's what they want. If you are seeking someone to provide, why wouldn't you want the best one to do it? So you can't be mad at women because they want a rich man or they want the athlete. They want the strong guy. Like they want the dominant alpha male. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't they go for the best of what they can get? That's just with anything else in life. It doesn't have to be the opposite sex. It could be with like food. If I want a burger, I want the best damn burger there is, right? So I mean, you can't be mad at somebody for wanting the best. So I feel like it flips on the other side. So you can't be mad at men for wanting the best of what we want. You know what I mean?
So do you think that's natural or learned behavior?
I think that's biological. I think that's in us from birth. I feel like as an infant, you want to seek the most efficient protection of survival.
And do you think that men are biologically wired to reproduce and spread their seed with as many women as possible?
Man, that's a good question. Yes, they are. We are. I'm not going to do that because I value my seed, but
he told us to be fruitful and multiply. I don't think that was, I mean, how can we be so fruitful and multiply if I were to get a woman pregnant? It's 9 more months until I can get her pregnant again. But biologically, I can go get someone pregnant again in the next 5 minutes. So being fruitful and multiply, I think that monogamy just goes out the window with that.
Okay, so then my next question, to jump the gun here, would the expectation of monogamy be asking a man to deny his biological instincts to reproduce?
That's the problem with life. That's the main problem with everything, because we are not able to be our natural selves. We have to pretend. We have to lie. We have to act like, even though we do love our women, we act like that's all that we want, and it's not. Even my love for you and how strong I want to provide and protect you, I would love to provide and protect her too.
Monogamy and learned behavior.
So if that's true, why are women allowed to fulfill their biological destiny to seek out the highest value man, but we're not allowed to fulfill our biological destiny to reproduce?
That's really deep, bro. That's a good question. That's a good.
Yeah, that's a damn good question.
Welcome to the righteous sphere. We separate the gray areas over here. We don't do the lying like those other places. No. We don't do no fucking lying over here. You're gonna get the truth.
Would the expectation of monogamy be asking a man to deny his biological instincts to reproduce?
That's the problem with life. That's the main problem with everything, because we are not able to be our natural selves. We have to pretend. We have to lie. We have to act like, even though we do love our women, we act like that's all that we want, and it's not. Even my love for you and how strong I want to provide and protect you, I want to love and provide and protect for her too.
Monogamy is learned behavior.
So if that's true, why are women allowed to fulfill their biological destiny to seek out the highest value man, but we're not allowed to fulfill our biological destiny to reproduce?
That's really deep, bro. That's a good question. That's a good.
Yeah, that's a damn good question, y'all. That's a damn good question, guys. And keep that in mind, guys, because we created by the Most High. God created us, guys. Our Creator created us, and He did not create us equal. He didn't create us equal at all. Science tell you that. Biology tell you that. You know what I mean? He didn't create us equal at all.
Good question.
Because we're living in a women-driven society where they rule. Just for example, look at the statistics for child support and things like that. How many women take advantage of the catering to women that get the benefits from that? How many women are just being lazy and get to collect checks and everything because they know that the government and men are going to provide for them? If they didn't have those luxuries, then they would have to figure something else out. They would have to survive in a different way, but they're able to be more relaxed and able to make the choices and not hold themselves accountable.
Wow.
Big word, guys.
It's the whole like woman power thing, you know. It's
not to be talked about.
Yeah, it's a whole woman power thing. Like, why can't we do that? You know. But
I'm just saying, women have a lot of power, and yet they feel like they have no power.
Well, that's the thing. They use that for power. The fact that they have no power is the power that they're using against. You know, it's like it's a Jedi mind trick.
They have the privilege of being victims.
Yeah. It's like race, right? You pull that black card, pull that white card, pull that Jew card, whatever. It's the same thing.
Exactly. No, I'm Jewish, and do I get to go to German people?
Exactly. It's over with. Right. But this is the new trend. Like, this wasn't like this in the 50s.
Sure.
It wasn't like this in the 60s, maybe 80s. It's like 90. Social media started the whole thing, the whole woman movement.
Right.
That's it. It's social media. Yeah. You know, you got all the celebrities talking about, like, you know, independence, and started from Beyonce, like, you know, INDE, right? Started from there, and it just kept on, you know, Cardi B, like, talking about, you know,
all the time you hear women's rights, equal rights, all this stuff, whatever, right? You cannot expect to have an equal partnership and all this stuff when you have one guy putting in all the effort and taking care of everything, and then the girl wants to sit there and act like she's the one that needs to be taken care of, but then she's out there doing all these freaking slut walks with Amber Rose, and she's, you know, all about women and all this stuff, empowerment, but then you're depending on a man. You can't really, I mean, I can't vibe with that.
See, the behavior of women, they will never change. It's just female nature. So us as men, we have to understand that and just get over it. So we have to adjust to the way they act.
Why is it easy to say that women will never change their behavior, but men, if men can change their behavior, why can't we expect women to change their behavior?
Because they're not going to do it. Just female nature, bro. I know.
They're not going to do it because they can't, or because they just don't want to?
Because they just can't. It's biologically ingrained in their heads.
Why isn't it impossible for men to change their behavior then?
Because we have accountable.
But it's just the way nature works, man.
So men are capable of.
It's because we're held accountable, guys. We're held accountable. They hold us accountable, right? If we slip up and put our seed in the wrong female and the relationship don't work, we got to pay child support, right? We are held accountable for that mistake. You know what I mean? They'll give a female something for her mistake. You know what I mean? We can't hit women. Why? We can't hit women back. She can slap shit out of us. We can't hit women back. Why? Because we going to jail today. You know what I mean? We're held accountable. You know what I mean? Society holds men accountable. Society don't hold women accountable. You get that, guys? That's why.
Adapting, but women aren't. Is that what your theory is?
Men adapt. Think about it.
Don't we see females changing all the time though? I mean, females used to be totally complacent, being a homemaker, and now all of a sudden women kind of seem to be more wanting to be more like men. So I mean, females are changing, wouldn't you say?
Right.
So if females are changing, then why is it safe to say that they won't change if they already have proven that they have changed?
I believe that it has to do with the context of in which you're speaking. It's the context in which you're speaking regarding female nature. By default, females are going to be females regardless. So us as men, we just have to adjust. They're hypergamous by nature.
Explain what hypergamy means.
So hypergamy means finding the next big option. So you're with a young man and he's making $30K a year, and you run across a man that's making $500K a year. You're going to exploit that option. You're going to explore that option. It's like a monkey branch. You're just climbing higher, so it benefits you. That's hypergamy.
Have you ever heard of the red pill?
Yes, I'm a red pill young man.
I can tell you are and stuff. What was your introduction to the red pill?
Oh, man. My introduction to the red pill, I remember when I'm 21 now, but I remember I was doing everything right. I thought I was doing everything right. I did everything right. I was doing everything right.
What does that mean? What is doing everything right?
Listen up, guys. Listen to this.
I had my guard up, but I let my guard down. But dates, just being a gentleman, just going the extra mile, even when she didn't deserve it. And just not getting the results that I wanted to in the end.
Okay, and so what did the red pill teach you?
It taught me that the real deal. Like, this is all propaganda by nature. We are taught, like, since we are children, we're taught that you got to be Mr. Nice Guy, and that's not the way. That's not the right way. That's not the right way, and you will never win. You got to be a man. And real men know their worth. Real men don't place their value in females. They place their value in themselves. Real men know their worth. Yeah.
Yo, guys, did you hear that? I'm gonna pay that back for you guys.
I'm
gonna pay that one back for you guys.
The red pill?
Yes, I'm a red pill young man.
I can tell you are and stuff.
Hey guys, okay, so I just downloaded this sick personal finance app called Truebill, and look what you can do with it.
What was your introduction to the red pill?
Oh, man, my introduction to the red pill, I remember when I'm 21 now, but I remember I was doing everything right. I thought I was doing everything right. I did everything right. I was doing everything right.
What does that mean? What is doing everything right?
I was a gentleman. At first, I had my guard up, but I let my guard down. But dates, just being a gentleman, just going the extra mile, even when she didn't deserve it. And just not getting the results that I wanted to in the end.
Guys,
it taught me that the real deal. Like, this is all propaganda by nature. We are taught, like, since we are children, we're taught that you got to be Mr. Nice Guy, and that's not the way. That's not the right way. That's not the right way, and you will never win. You got to be a man, and real men know their worth. Real men don't place their value in females. They place their value in themselves. Real men know their worth. Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely, guys. Damn good video. All right, guys, that was a damn good warm-up. What's up? Y'all see the thumbnail? We here today to find out who hurt the women. because they love to use that line on us. They love to scream, yo, who hurt you? You know what I mean? And clearly, we against a stacked deck. We against a stacked deck. So we have reasons to be hurt. You know what I mean? But they seem to love to ask us who hurt us when we call them out on the truth. You know what I mean? So today, we're going to figure out who hurt them. It's real simple. It's real clean. It's clean cut. You know what I mean? But we got a couple of people that possibly hurt them. You know what I mean? Because our sisters is not happy. You know what I mean? Clearly, our sisters haven't been happy since like 1992. You know what I mean? And we're going to find out today why our sisters is not happy. Because they not happy. You know what I mean? I wonder who hurt them. You know what I mean? They so mean. You know what I mean? They so mean. They so nasty. You know what I mean? They so clever. They so creative. You know what I mean? Salute, class. Let some more people file in. Let some more of the class come. You know, we got some old late scragglers just be playing in them halls all day. You know what I mean? Salute to all my 71% women that's going to creep in here and stick their head in here. You know what I mean? Much love to you. Much love to you. I hope you learned something. You know what I mean? Where's all my alphas at? I see my alphas in the building. My alphas in the building. Okay. Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know what time it is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Word. Who else we got in here? My 29% women. Okay. I hope y'all ready to speak up today because we need y'all to speak up. 29% lady. My Eves is in the house. We gonna need y'all to speak up more, ladies. Word. You know what I mean? And last but not least, my hell of a sons. Where my simping forces at? Where's my know-it-alls? You know what I mean? Y'all ready to scrimp for me today? Y'all ready to scrimp for me today? We gonna scrimp today? Or we gonna pay attention and we gonna learn something today? Huh? Guys, y'all know I got a good video. Because they screaming that the Manosphere is full of angry dudes that bash women, guys. The Manosphere, they said that. They said the Manosphere is full of a bunch of angry men that bash women. You know what I mean? And this is a society that caters to foolishness. I mean, this is a society that care about the equality and the outcome rather than the equality and the opportunity. That's why fake is the new real now, guys. You know what I mean, guys? I put this post up earlier, guys, and we're going to start it off with this. The people in power want our sisters to eat the fruit. Sounds way too familiar, don't it? Shaking my head. And these dummies did it. All right, guys? That's why they mad, guys. That's who hurt them, guys. These women is running from the creator, guys. These women is running from the creator because at the end of the day, the war is between them. I told you guys a while ago that feminism is that forbidden fruit. Feminism is that fruit that our creator told us to stay away from. He told us to guard our women. We were supposed to be guarding our women from that forbidden fruit. Somehow, some way, our women, they left beyond our control, and they all taking a bite out of that forbidden fruit. And once you bite that forbidden fruit called feminism, guys, it's out of our hands as men. We gotta stay away from those women that subscribe to that, guys. You know what I mean? We gotta stay away from those women. Because there's no good coming in those women's future. There's no good coming in those women's past, guys. It's just destruction, guys. And they will destroy everything that they put their hands on. Anything they put their spin on. So don't be sleeping with the enemy, wondering why you can't win. Wondering why you can't move forward, guys. You guys gotta understand, guys. The forbidden fruit that we supposed to be guarding from and staying away from is feminism, guys. So today I want to get straight on into the video. I'm going to get straight on into it. We're going to bust it out. And before we get into this, guys, I want to just read a little verse. One of my favorite verse. I might start reading this verse. You know what I mean? I might start reading this before I go live on everything. You know what I mean? Because it's important that you guys understand that the information and the stuff that I provide for you guys is it's heaven sent, guys. It's heaven sent, guys. You know what I mean? You already know. Shout outs to Tolo. Diego, I see you, my guy. Salute to Diego. We got everybody in the chat tonight. We got Idle Hands. What up, Idle Hands? You know what I mean? Got a couple of the brothers in there. If I missed you, trust me, I'll catch y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all already know. This is the verse right here. This is the verse to let you know that channels like my channel, channels like Fuck Child Support, Mr. Palmer channel, you know what I mean? Channels like Minister Jap, you know what I mean? Supreme Red TV, you know what I mean? Anthony Spade, you know what I mean? Channels like those guys, those are red pill awareness channels right there. Those are channels that are equipping young men with information and wisdom and insight. You know what I mean? Remember those words, with wisdom and insight, so that you won't make the mistakes that we made in life, so that you will be that much better in life, in your path. You know what I mean? And it just so happened that I named those guys because we got a chance to reach the young community. We got a chance to reach the young generation and the youth. You know what I mean? And we all have our different ways of doing it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it all coincides into one thing, and that's making you become a better man. Making you become a better man. The only way that you're gonna fight and win again in this gynocracy, because we see that it's all catered to women. You know what I mean? The only way you're gonna win and be successful and thrive is to change the laws of your mind and for you to become a better man. You gotta get rid of all of that belief, that foul belief system that you've been brought up to believe, and it grew on you. You know, because when something grow on you guys, you know what? Well, it grew on me. You know what I mean? And that's very feminine, because if you don't like something when you first seen it, you shouldn't like it. You know what I mean? If you ain't like it, you ain't like it. It shouldn't nothing grow on you. But that's brainwash. When shit grow on you, that's brainwash. So that's what our channels is here. Our channels is here to provide you with wisdom and insight so that you won't slip up. And now you're that much ahead, especially my young guys. My young guys, we more of a prevention for you young guys. You see, with the older guys that we deal with, that's more of a recovery, because those guys may have made mistakes, and now we're going to help them recover from those mistakes. You guys get the chance to gravitate to the information and study the insight and not even have to make those mistakes. So you save that much time, guys. And we know that time is money. Time is your money, guys. Time is your value. Time is more important than money, guys. Remember, guys, you could triple your money with time. If you manage the time right, you can always manage the money. You can double the money. So time is more important than money, guys. But this is not one of those lies. We here to find out why these girls are so mad, why these girls be so upset, why these girls be on social media so angry and so clever with they post. You know what I mean? That's what we here to find out. You know what I mean? We here to find out why they always lying and eating crab legs at the same time. That's what we want to find out today, guys. So, like I said, let me read my favorite verse. One of my favorite verses, y'all know, Proverbs 7. My son, keep my words and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eyes. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on a tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and to insight, you are my relative. They will keep you from the adulterous woman and the wayward woman with her seductive words. All right, guys, let's get it. Let's get into it, guys. All right, we ain't even gonna play no games. We gonna break it down now. We gonna break it down now. All right, guys. Remember, guys, we are not equal, guys. We are not equal. Don't let them tell you that you're equal. I don't understand what they talking about. Once they start identifying with that we are equal joint, then you already know red flag. You already know red flag, guys. We are not equal. Where you see equal at? Hold on, Tolo. Let me move this real quick. But where you see equal at, guys? I don't see nothing equal on this board. I don't see nothing equal on this board. Where we at? Hold on. Let me move that. Yeah, that's it. That's the man. Yeah, I don't see nothing either on this board, guys. The man's side, guys, we logical, we confident, we focused, we strong, we stable, we clear, we're assertive, and we're goal-driven, guys. Women, they're intuitive. They're generous, they're nurturing, they're creative, they're collaborative, they're caring, they're receptive, and they're supposed to be grateful. Now, all of those characteristics are great. Those are fine. What's wrong with what's wrong with the women just being cool with having the characteristics that he gave them? Why they want to have our characteristics? Why they want to have our characteristics, guys? Why they want to have our characteristics? It makes no sense, guys. You know what I mean? You got to remember, guys, from the jump, women had a problem recognizing our indifference. From the jump, the very first woman created had a problem with being behind or on the side of us. She wanted to be in the front of us, guys. The very first woman created, guys. We're going to get into that, so y'all stay tuned for that. You know what I mean? We definitely going to be linking with Mr. Palmer on his channel, and we're going to find out the original BMT, the original baby mama terrorist, where that spirit originate from, guys. And it's sad. You know, those of you that follow me, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know what time it is when it come to that woman, that wicked witch of the West. You know what I mean? But it's 71% of them out here, guys. That's 7 out of 10. Are you sleeping with one right now, guys? Are you sleeping with one that identify with the ways of feminism? Are you sleeping with one that have bit that apple? Because you know the moms bit into the apple. All it takes is for one female to bite into the apple, and then they'll feed it to their daughter. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. You know what I mean? That's what's going on right now. They're feeding it right. They're passing that apple straight on down. It's inheriting it. Boop, 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 boop. You know what I mean, guys? It's feminism. Feminism is what keeping our ladies from happiness. Feminism is what's keeping our ladies sad and upset and angry. You know what I mean? That's one idea. Unless it's their dad. What is it? It's the fact that you don't have a father figure in your life. You don't have a dad. That's what it is. Because the girls that have a dad, they can identify with us men as being human beings. The girls that have a dad, they don't look at us telling our truth as bash. The girls that have a dad, they heard these things around the house before. The girls that have a dad, yep. Guys, y'all gotta start vetting these females right? Y'all gotta start messing with women that have a dad. Not no stepdad that know they dad. Because we know what the stepdad do. We know the stepdad there for the coochie. The stepdad don't give a fuck about the kid because the stepdad know that the kid don't give a fuck about him. You know what I mean? This is 2022, guys. This ain't back in the days, you know what I mean? Where women was generous and the shit that I just showed you on that chart. They ain't like that no more. 7 out of 10 of them is not like that no more, guys. So it's always going to be a roll of the dice, guys. So this is why I tell you, it's the only way to fight. The only way to fight feminism and this gynocracy, guys, is to come to some true knowledge and wisdom and believe in yourself and put yourself first. Don't be out here simping. Don't be out here simping because then that means you're not putting yourself first. You putting your worship, your lust first, guys. That's what you got to control, guys. You know what I mean? We can sit here all day. Like, remember I told you guys, I'm not ever going to get on here and play the victim, guys, because I'm not a victim. This is why when I saw this video, I had to speak up for the manosphere. I had to speak up for the manosphere. You're not going to run around here and say the manosphere is full of angry individuals, because nah, the manosphere is full of smart, creative individuals that is not stupid. You know what I mean? See, the gynocracy can't thrive without a stupid individual, without a hell of a son or a simp enforcer. The gynocracy can't thrive like that. You know what I mean? You got to understand the gynocracy and Liliths, the 71% Liliths, they want to turn you soft. They don't like masculinity. Masculinity frightens them. So they have an attack on masculinity. That's why everything that's real ain't right to them. Everything real get canceled. You know what I mean? How can a man get canceled for telling the truth, guys? Let's get into this one.
Ideas here. Mona Sharon is a senior fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center. She's an author, columnist, and host of her podcast, Need to Know. Prior to her current position, she was a speechwriter for Nancy Reagan and also worked with the Reagan White House Public Affairs Office. She's the author of 2 books, but her newest book is this book, Sex Matters, which just came out in June. Tuesday. And in the interest of the kind of conversation that we're going to be having about including issues of work-life balance and having it all, she is married to Robert Parker and mother to 3 sons. Who is here tonight? Robert Parker is right in the back. And with that, I think we will jump right into it. I think the first thing that we're going to be discussing, obviously we're talking about the relevance of feminism today and what American women think about feminism and why that might be. And I think it would be amiss to start the conversation without noting that the overwhelming majority, 2/3 of American women, reject the label feminist. What does that say about feminism, about its relevance today to American women?
So usually when people introduce the statistic, the response is, well, there must be something that these women are not in touch with. They don't realize their own best interests, and it's up to us to show them that they really should be feminists, because being...
For one, a lot of women don't identify with that bullshit because they don't understand it, guys. They don't understand it. Look at the way they use the word. When you hear the word femme, you thinking it's soft in nature. You thinking it's female. It's real off close to female. So you would think that a bunch of women just identify with the shit because they think that it's something for the girls. You know what I mean? But a lot of women know, especially our sisters. A lot of our sisters know that shit is pure evil, but it benefits them to identify to it when it works for them. You know what I mean? And that's why they're upset, guys. That's why they mad. Mm-hmm. That's who hurt them.
Being feminist is what it means to be pro-woman. And but I think that the polling is telling us something. It is telling us that the image that feminism has in the wider public is and if you go down into the polls, you will see the responses that people think that feminists are too extreme, that they're anti-male, right, and that they're anti-family. And so those are some of the critiques that I have also had of feminism. While I completely endorse a lot of the reforms that feminism had a role in introducing into our society, equal pay, women are the full legal, moral, political equals of men, but the feminist movement made some mistakes, and we haven't grappled with that. we have not had a reckoning about where the movement took some wrong turns. And I try to lay out in the book where I think those were. They fall into a few different categories, but I won't filibuster. I'll just say they endorsed the sexual revolution, which was not a good idea for anybody. They denigrated family life, and they...
Bingo. That's it right there, guys. Like, clearly, why would you do that? Like, and that's feminism. Let's play that back, guys. I think that's important to play that back. Like, so we have a bunch of women that identify with a group that's going around here, and they know they are foolishness. They know they promote nothing but stupidity. But because the stupidity works for them and it gives them the participation award, that they still push this bullshit to us and ruin our community and the next generation and the generation after that and after that. And you hear it. This is where those baby mother terrorists and those hell of a mothers and those 71% Lilith women, this is where they get their pride from. This is where they get their pride. This is why they so prideful, because they know at the end of the day, nothing gonna happen. They could try it, like, so that means if I knew nothing was gonna happen, if you knew nothing was gonna happen to you, you would try some shit. You would try some shit. Fuck, you won't try. Why wouldn't you try some shit if you knew if you knew for sure nothing was gonna happen to you? Listen, man, we all try some shit.
Insisted that there are no differences between men and women, which caught them up when science showed that that was just not true.
Right.
So they wound up in a position where they were denying science.
Right.
And,
how can you deny science? Like, come on now, guys. Like we can't continue to push narratives that's weak, yo. It make us look foolish, guys. It make us look foolish, guys. But it's not us doing it. You know, guys, it's not us doing it. It's our women. It's our women. That's why I said, who hurt them? They hurt themselves, guys. They hurt themselves. So when they ask us who hurt us, we have a legitimate person. We have a legitimate face to put to that hurt. We have a legitimate gripe. We have a legitimate pain. They have no fucking pain.
So for those three reasons, I think they took some wrong turns, and I would love to see a discussion about.
And we pay for those wrong turns.
Course correct.
Us men, we can all pay for those wrong turns.
So it's interesting because often when conservative women push back against the idea of feminism, we are told that it's actually that the definition of feminism is the political, social equality of the sexes, and that seems to be an idea they think that everybody should be able to get behind. But you point out a long history of academic feminism in this book. You have an entire chapter about sort of the history of academic feminism, where some of the ideas came from. You mentioned you think it went wrong. Where do you think were those kind of academic or intellectual turning points where feminism split from a mere equality?
So Betty Friedan published The Feminine Mystique in 1963, and that was considered sort of the groundbreaking book that changed the world. And in some ways it was, although I take issue with how much it really affected women going into the workforce. It did to some degree, no doubt. But as I point out in this book, the movement of women into the workforce predated feminism, predated Friedan, and predated the modern feminist movement. It had a lot to do, I suppose, with the changing economy, changing from an industrial to a post-industrial or information economy, which plays more to women's strengths, the increasing wealth of the society, greater education for women, gave them more opportunities and more things to spend money on. I mean, during the 1930s and 40s, people were desperately poor and didn't have the opportunity to even contemplate luxuries. So I try to put that in perspective. But so Betty Friedan comes along and she writes her blockbuster, and there are many things wrong with the book. I was looking at the 50th anniversary.
Look how she can openly say there is many things wrong with a so-called blockbuster, groundbreaking, informational book to women. Look how easy it is to sell our females some bullshit, yo. Just peep it.
Edition that was recently published, and it was somebody said it was readable, and I thought, really? I mean, it's about 500 pages, or it felt like it, and it was full of anecdotes and kind of what we would now label junk science. But her big focus was getting women out of the house and into the workplace. That was her goal, and that was what her book was about. So that's 63. 1970, 7 years later, along come the really furious sorority of radical feminists who dominate the bestseller lists in 1970. You had Germaine Greer, Kate Millett, and Shulamith Firestone. They were beyond Betty Friedan. And by the way, it's interesting about Betty Friedan. She changed her mind later. She's the only one of those major second wave feminists who actually was a mother. And she later wrote a book called The Second Stage, where she basically retracted a lot of what she had said in The Feminine Mystique, but that's a footnote. So these feminists, the more radical ones that came along in the 70s, in 1970, were also part of the New Left. And their project was way beyond women being in the workforce or, pay equity or things like that. Their agenda was to smash the patriarchy, as they put it. And by that, they meant that all of the standards about family life had to go out the window, that the family was the greatest obstacle to women's happiness. And they were explicit about it. And that was when the movement took a sharp wrong turn.
So speaking of happiness.
All right. You know what I mean? Now, Black Pill, what's up in the building? Now, let her talk. Let her talk, because she blowing them up. She doing the research. She did the work. She found out that feminism is the reason why a lot of these sisters is not cool. They not happy. They not happy. They not happy. Just listen to her. Just give her out. Hear her out. Hear her out.
We have a lot of surveys on women's happiness going back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then on through the modern era. And you point out that a rise in women's happiness did not correlate with feminist gains. In fact, we see more and more women telling surveyors that they're unhappy. I mean, you point to the criticism of the family life. Is that because women have maybe missed out on some things that had made them happy before? Is it because they realized they went out into the world and into the workforce and realized it was, not a friendly place for women due to the patriarchy or whatever other explanation? I mean, you could think of a lot of different explanations for this. Why do you think that women are less happy today, according to these surveys, than they were before most of the second wave and third wave feminist ideas took hold?
Yeah, so there are a number of surveys, including the General Social Survey, which is the biggest and most comprehensive and asks Americans a lot of questions about their subjective happiness. And it's been notable that since 1972, women have reported declining happiness every single year, and men have reported slightly increasing happiness, so that they've switched places. Whereas in the past, women were a little happier than men. Now they're less happy. Now, we can't, who knows? I mean, it's impossible to say.
Y'all heard that, guys? That's an important statistic, guys. The decline, and it's declining. You know what I mean, guys? It's way cheaper to be a guy than it is to be a girl. It's expensive to be a woman. It's expensive.
What causes something so broad? But I do speculate in the book that when you consider what women are like, and how nature made us, and also the things that we see. So women are, for example, much more likely to be risk averse than men. Like investment advisors know that if they have a couple, that the husband's going to be more comfortable with taking a slightly riskier bet, and the wife is going to be like, I'm not so sure. So together they make a nice balance. But women are a little bit risk averse. Women are, worry more. They tell pollsters that they worry about nuclear war or nuclear energy, or they're much more worried about radical changes. So when Scotland was voting on the referendum about whether to leave the UK, women came out and voted against it, and perhaps because it was too big of a change, it was too risky. And we note that all over the developed world, women are more likely to vote for candidates.
And this is why, guys, like they say we gotta unite with the women, and they will sell us out, guys. You heard what she said. Even if we try to unite with these women, 7 out of 10 of them will sell us out, All Zaddy gotta do is scare them, and they gonna sell us out, guys. They will blow the whole plan if we try to start our own community. We try to build back the community. 7 out of 10 of these women will straight sell us the fuck out, Y'all heard it.
Energy, or they're much more worried about radical changes. So when Scotland was voting on the referendum about whether to leave the UK, women came out and voted against it, and perhaps because it was too big of a change, it was too risky. And we note that all over the developed world, women are more likely to vote for candidates and parties that want a strong safety net and lots of social supports. So we know that women are risk averse, more risk averse than men. And obviously there are differences within that. Some women are more so, some less. Of course, these are all generalizations. But so women are risk averse. They want and need security. And that seems fairly obvious why that would be. We get pregnant, we have babies, we are kind of in need of somebody to help.
That's your business, yo. Y'all should be more respectful, and y'all should be more grateful. But this is why they mad, son. This is why they mad, son. This is why they mad, y'all. This is why they mad, yo. Sucks to be them. This is why they should be more humble, because they took a bit of that apple. They all took a bit of that apple. They all took a bit of that apple. They all ran to that apple. They chunked in it. They all wanted to be independent. They all wanted to turn themselves into men. You know what I mean? And that's not what God had for them. That's not what God wanted them to do. God said all he wanted them to do was sit pretty, maintain their look, maintain their standards, learn in peace, learn in private. You know what I mean? Be humble. That's all he said. Take care of their temple. I don't know how they managed to fuck up the coochie. Coochie sells itself, and 7 out of 10 women done fucked that all the way up. They done fucked it all the way up. All the way up. Well, let's get back to this.
Help us out while we have young children. We need husbands or someone to help us.
That's a fact.
And women are very aware of their own vulnerability. And in the last 40 years, because of the changes that partly were brought about because of feminism, women are less secure than they used to be. They have more opportunities for sure, and that's great. But there's always a trade-off, and I would not want women to be denied any opportunity that they want. And I also would never say that women should all do one thing and not another, that they should all stay home and be moms, though I loved being a mom. But I am saying that for the average woman, with marriage further out of reach, with a lot of young men in our society not really growing up and not taking responsibility for themselves, for their children that they father.
All right, now we gotta ask, who raised those young men that she talking about right now? Because I like when they get to this. I like when they start talking now. I like when they start yapping like this. I love when they start yapping like this. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love when they start yapping like that. Because now who raised those young men that go around? Who raised those pookies? Remember, guys, women, mothers, hell of a mothers, they inadvertently raising these guys. Some inadvertently, because some of them do it on purpose. Some of them is so prideful, you know what I mean? Because then it took a bit of that apple, and now God fucking with their mind now. Because they tuggling between what they see on social media and what they biological body, what they clock tell them, what everything in their body tell them. Because that belong to God. That belong to God. So no matter how much you try to manipulate it and change it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you are a woman. You know what I mean? Your nature is your nature. And that's what's fucking with the mind. You know what I mean? You got Zaddy on one end, and you got your nature and your biology on the other end. You know what I mean? Zaddy's telling you get the money, you don't need the man, and your biology is telling you you want to be lazy because you're not here to do the work that y'all doing. You know what I mean? God ain't make y'all, he ain't build y'all to be putting in the work that y'all trying to put in to keep up. You know what I mean? He didn't make y'all for that. Honestly, God made y'all to value and spend the points. And he made us to put the high score up and score the points. All right? So because you can attract a man on that value, don't get mad, don't get upset. You have nobody to be upset at but yourself. You know what I mean? And guys, you got to stay away from these females. You got to stay away from these type of females, guys. You got to stay away from any type of female that identify with feminism. If she identify with it, you got to stay away from her. You know what I mean? Because she do not want you to win. It's about her. It's all about her, guys. You do not play with Lilith. We do not negotiate with terrorists over here, guys. That's what they are. Don't negotiate with them. There's no negotiation with them, yo. You don't. You setting yourself up for failure, dealing with them. 7 out of 10 of them, guys. You know what I mean? This is why I tell you, and you like, damn, yo, that's the crazy odds. This is why we keep telling you, make yourself great. Change the laws of your mind. You know what I mean? Get to some knowledge. Those of you that watch me, y'all good bread. Y'all good bread. You like the way I put that on there too, right? Y'all good bread. You know what I mean? All bread ain't good bread, but y'all good bread. All right? Because y'all gonna get that education. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna get that education. You know what I mean? Y'all fuck all that entertainment. I'm gonna entertain y'all in the process, but y'all gonna get that education. Y'all gonna get that wisdom. You know what I mean? So that y'all could take that ball and run with it. That's what it's about. It ain't about how smart a motherfucker is, because it's a nigga out there 10 times smarter than me. It's about how you use your smartness to help motherfuckers. That's what it's about. And that's what I'm here for, guys. That's what we do over here, guys. Let's get back to this whole corny ass lady. Now she getting corny to me because she researched and she seen what it is, but she's still gonna straddle the fence now. Now she's gonna play non-biased. You've seen that feminism is all of a joke. It's all of a front. It's all of a pick me. That's the pick me shit. You know what I mean? They're gonna make the rules up as they go. And they have an attack on masculinity. That's all it is. They have a whole attack, a full-on attack on masculinity.
For anything really, not their communities either. When men don't marry, they don't assume a lot of responsibilities in life. So women are less secure, and I think that accounts for why they're less happy.
So you critique the sexual revolution a lot in this book. And so it's interesting when we're talking about men and women's happiness, right? And relative to each other. There is a school of thought that says that the sexual revolution was a great boon to men. If you think about the Me Too movement and how that started out talking about Harvey Weinstein and sort of very criminal behavior, right? He's now had to turn himself in to the police and undergo criminal trial. We started out talking about that. And the kind of conclusion, although it's still obviously ongoing, the last huge story to kind of hit And I think that made subsequent stories more difficult to run was that Aziz Ansari story that was run by Babe. And a line in that story really jumped out to me, right? It says, the girl is telling the reporter, I called an Uber home and I just cried the whole way home in the Uber because I felt so bad about this encounter. I mean, we seem to be having a debate as a society about consent, and the left seems to want to push the definition of consent to be much broader than what the right would think is traditional, or the law thinks, for example, is consent. Do we talk about consent because we don't have a language with which to talk about hurtful sex?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. One of the ironies is that we are today, we have gotten to the point in our society where we have no longer linked sexual behavior with character, right? It used to be that somebody, a man or a woman who was, used other people purely for their own pleasure and was not committed. And, there were all kinds of names for people like that, some names for women, some names for men, but it was considered a mark of bad character. And because of the sexual revolution, we sort of repealed that. But so when women were faced with situations where men were behaving in ways that were not rape or were not assault, but they were still not being treated right and they were still unhappy, they don't have any other vocabulary that the culture gives them to protest and say, this isn't working for me. And I said last night that I quoted Jessica Valenti, who's a feminist, but when she was talking about the Aziz Ansari story, she said a lot of men will read that and they'll say, that's a pretty straightforward, normal sexual encounter. And what they don't understand is, for us women, it's just not working. And that's one of the fundamental differences. And something has gone very wrong when men have been misled into thinking that women are just as into, a casual hookup as they are. And it leads to unnecessary disappointment and heartbreak. And I think that it's the end.
Guys, what she's saying right there, so that we all on the same page, is these women play this hookup culture shit, but they not designed to be hoes. They want to be hoes for the attention, but they not designed to be hoes, guys. They want to trap your ass. They want to trap your ass and take the easy way out. You know what I mean? That's what she's saying right now. You know what I mean? And they started the whole culture. The females, remember, by them wanting to do exactly what the man do and wear the whole jacket, which doesn't look great on them at all, because that's not what they designed for. You know what I mean? That's not what God ain't put them here to go seek and find a female to mate with. They are the female that's supposed to mate. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
Enemy of love, casual sex, and the hookup culture.
So let's get to the heart of your truth claim, right? Because a lot of what we're talking about is dependent on the idea that men and women are not just different in terms of the obvious physical differences, but that we're deeply different in terms of brain structure, in terms of, you mentioned risk averse, in terms of personality traits, right? Where is the evidence for the claim? So the left will say, right, that this is socially constructed, and that in fact the differences that we see between men and women on average are more due to the way that society raises girls and boys than it has to do with anything inherently underlying biological. What's your answer to that?
So look, does culture matter? Of course, and it would be crazy to say otherwise. But is it everything? There's a lot of reason to be skeptical about that. We have abundant evidence of differences that show up between boy babies and girl babies in the first days of life, before anybody's had an opportunity to program them. So little girl babies will respond more to the sound of a human in distress. Little boy babies will respond more to flashing lights and moving objects. There are noticeable differences in sensitivity to touch. In fact, in this area, sensitivity to touch, there really isn't any overlap between men and women. They're so different. Men being less sensitive, women being much more. Some of the differences are small, but some of them are not insignificant. And so they show up in infancy. We see them around the world.
It don't matter the size of the it don't matter. We different. And that's the point right here, guys. We different. We raised different. We think different. We don't get dressed the same. Men get dressed from the bottom up. Women get dressed top down. You know what I mean? We don't shake hands the same. Think about it, guys. We don't raise our kids the same at all. We tell our girls to be safe, watch their back, look out, be careful with men. We raise our men to be gentlemen and to have manners and have respect and to be tough. That's two different things. The way we raise our guys don't got nothing to do really connecting with the way we raise our girls. So cut it out. We're not equal, y'all. We're not equal. And those are the ones that's trying to get equal to a man, y'all gonna be mad. That's why y'all mad. Cause y'all not gonna be able to do it.
World. And speaking of around the world, if something is socially constructed, then you would expect to find cultures somewhere that do it differently, right? Wearing kilts is socially constructed. It's not innate. If it were, we'd find it, in New Zealand, or well, actually, we might find it in New Zealand. Bad example. We'd find it in, Kenya and Peru, but we don't. Okay, fine. But other things, like for example, surveys about what people are looking for in a potential mate. You can tell based only on what people say they look for in a mate, whether with about 90% accuracy, whether you're looking at a male or a female. So males will say they want someone young and beautiful, and females will say they want someone with resources. This is true in Iran. It's true in Chile. It's true in the United States. It's true everywhere. And so if something is true everywhere, then it's much less likely that we're looking at something that is culturally determined.
You mentioned, beauty, that men are looking for the young and beautiful. This actually really surprised me in your book. I'm a fan of fashion, runways, and I like reading fashion magazines. So you wrote that fashion magazines of the 1950s portrayed beauty as much more attainable with effort, right? So they portrayed beauty as something that most women could attain with, these 5 tips or whatever. And it strikes me that the way that we talk about beauty today is it's very, there's a big dichotomy, right? And it seems to me to be a little bit schizophrenic. On the one hand, we have an incredibly kind of airbrushed standard of beauty that seems wildly unattainable to most women. And on the other, we talk about beauty as though it doesn't matter at all, that the only thing that matters is what's inside your character, and that beauty is irrelevant to anything important in life.
You see how they got them bugging? How can you these are their narratives that they promote within the sisterhood, guys. So 1 minute it's not about look, the next minute, so they got underneath the same umbrella, they got chicks fighting to keep their clothes on and be respected with just their clothes on and their voice. While under the same umbrella, they got a bunch of chicks that think that taking their clothes off, getting butt naked, please, is liberating and empowering. Under the same umbrella, guys. Under the same umbrella. Wow.
And then with the third plank of kind of ideas that seem to me to be in tension is we made, as you point out, sexuality kind of the cornerstone in many ways of our identities. And if sexuality is I think I'm trying to find the quote, the spiritual quest, right? You call it a spiritual quest. We've made sexuality to be so central to our identities. That kind of necessitates a focus on attractiveness to the other sex that might not be as might not seem as existential as maybe one of many qualities if sexuality was not as central to identity.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of the old sources of identity, and so other things are rushing in, and one of them is sexuality, and we have now the idea that there are many sexualities. I talk about that a little bit in the book, but I have to say that this is one area, the way our society has evolved in the last 25, 30 years, as I've been looking at it, where I had a lot of sympathy for the feminist view that the protesting against the sexualization of women, using women to advertise things, and yet it's only gotten worse. Now there's modesty is completely gone, and it pains me, frankly, to look at Fox News, which has made a business out of, and the other networks do it too, but not nearly to the degree, where the camera's down there. And
did you hear what she say, ladies? Modesty, ladies. Ladies got to learn the word modesty. And fellas, they only take it off because the thirst buckets, the hell of a sons, the simping forces encourage it. But while you guys encourage it and drool over it and entice them and give them all your attention, they don't want y'all. They end up coming back to guys like myself to talk about you guys, you know what I mean? And that's not cool, yo. That's not cool for y'all. Because now they think because you guys want them, that we want them. And we don't. Stop doing that.
And they're wearing short skirts and, and I think that women's dignity rests in part upon not presenting a sexualized image to the world. One of the things I cited in the book was the gymnast Ali Raceman, who posed topless for Sports Illustrated, and this was before, by the way, all the news came out about Nasser and all of that. But she posed, and it was sort of a semi-nude picture, and she said she did it to show that she didn't have body image problems. And I thought, look, and I say in the book, Angela Merkel does not take her blouse off to show she doesn't have body image problems, okay? And if she did, no one would respect her. And women have to realize that this matters, and that the way they present themselves, of course, you can always get a ton of attention by dressing in a certain way, but you lose dignity and you lose respect.
And that's a fact. I don't give a fuck how you try to cut it. I don't give a fuck how you try to promote it. Showing ass, leave you last, all right? Use a frisbee. You're a frisbee. I don't give a fuck. And honestly, it be the ones that be the brokest. The brokest ones be the flies. Hold on, let me clear them up first. The brokest ones be the flyers. The brokest ones be the absolute flyers. You know what I mean, guys? That's red flag right there. Attention and validation is their worst enemy. Exactly. They don't even care about the win. They don't care about the bag nowadays, guys. They care about the popularity. To them, popularity is success. Popularity is success to them. And that's dumb. Because we all know the sacrifice is to be liked or to be successful. So if you popular, then that means you like. Then that means you kissing ass. That means you is not even as successful as you possibly could be. Because anybody that's successful is not liked. Period. No matter how you cut it. By everybody, no. Nope. Let's get back to it.
So you talk about the fact that men are going to look at that picture and they're not going to think about how proud she is of her body or her body image or see her as an empowered woman. They're going to think about sex. I love that you actually have my all-time favorite quote at the top of one of your chapters in this book, which is by Horace. You may drive nature out with a pitchfork, and yet she will come hurrying back. How much of this nature-nurture debate, when we understand a little bit more and not be afraid to look at the scientific evidence and just to observe around us in the culture the distinctions between men and women, the differences, the deep differences between men and women. I mean, to loop back a little bit to the happiness conversation, how much potential for harmony and happiness is there in truly understanding what motivates the opposite sex, right? For men to understand a little bit more about what motivates women, and for women to understand a little bit more about what motivates men.
Right, that's so important. And one of the reasons it's so important is that if you understand that men are kind of like this, you know, like they're not into having long 3-hour conversations about your feelings, and that there's nothing wrong with your particular husband or boyfriend, that he can only last a half hour, that's just kind of why you have girlfriends and sisters and so forth. It will lead to less dissatisfaction with your particular man. And similarly, there are traits that women have that men should be aware of. And you know, and obviously these are generalizations, and I want to be clear that there's a huge amount of variety within both sexes, and we've all known very mannish women and very effeminate men, and that's great. And you know, but as a generalization, it is true that we are different and we don't appreciate or honor each other. And mostly I've been concerned in the last few years about the denigration of men, because I think that men are really falling behind. 60% of the undergraduates in universities right now are women. It would be higher if they didn't practice kind of silent for males. They are falling away from the workforce. They're not marrying. And it's really worrisome, not just for them, it's worrisome for women, because women want to have
our futures are bound together for, even if one is not heterosexual, but vast majority of people are, our futures are bound together because we have sons, we have husbands, we have friends, we have, you know, our half the planet is the opposite sex for each of us. So obviously our futures are bound together. I wanted to ask you what we lose then in terms of the dynamic between men and women. And this doesn't have to be exclusively romantic or sexual, right? I'm talking about the dynamic between men and women in the workplace, on the street, you know, on the subway, and romantic relationships and friendships and all kinds of relationships between men and women. Have we lost something about the joy of the differences and kind of having a good time with those differences? I mean, a couple examples that kind of...
Hell yeah, we lost something. Hell yeah, we lost something. What you mean, did we lose something? Listen to me closely, y'all. Black brothers, my brothers, we used to love our sisters, like really sing to our sisters, preach to our sisters. You seen the love songs. You saw how we were simping back in the days to our sisters. We don't love our sisters. We like them. We like them a little bit. But that love that we used to have for our sisters, singing, simping, down on one knee, boys to men, that shit out of here. We don't love them like that no more, because they don't love us, and it's evident now. All they did was they removed the mask that they was hiding for years. They removed that mask thanks to social media. Social media has been a gift and a curse to those females, but it has removed that mask, and we see it for what it is now. When men is going their own way. Shout out to all my MGTOW dudes. Shout out to my MGTOW dudes, you know what I mean? And guys, keep in mind, you do what you have to do to become your best version of you. You got to go MGTOW, you go MGTOW. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
That I push back against in my writing. I was genuinely shocked to read the interpretation of one of my favorite songs in the last few years, Baby It's Cold Outside. And the song, if you haven't heard the song in the last few years, has become somewhat controversial. The interpretation is that there's something, that there's some kind of lack of consent, that he's maybe drugging her in her drink. And to me, it was very.
I missed that.
Yeah, you missed this whole conversation.
No, I didn't miss the conversation. I missed the implication that there was a date rape in that song. But
when I listen to that song, I hear a beautiful illustration of kind of the dance between men and women. What do we lose when the sort of model of female power goes from Liz Taylor to Liz Lemon?
Well, it's also, you know, the one of the things that kept coming up when I talked to young people when I was researching this book is the loss of flirtation. A lot of girls in particular say they would love to flirt and get to know guys and enjoy that, and it still happens. I'm not saying it's, you know, gone, but it's much different. I mean, now we're living in the world of swipe right, swipe.
Man, that shit gone. That shit all the way gone. It's not cool anymore. It's not cool to even play with it. It's not even, girls are just not friendly anymore, yo. 71% of them just not cool to be around. They're not fun to be with. They just grumpy all the time. It's like they're mad, yo. They just fat and mad, yo.
Left. The whole, as you say, the dance of courtship and the chase, which frankly is pleasurable for both men and women, is much cruder now and much less fun. And what we lose is the sense that we're dealing here with something that's actually incredibly profound. One of the mistakes of the sexual revolution was in believing that it was not important. When I got to college in the 1970s, they said, oh, it's just like a handshake, or, you know, it's chaste makes waste, and various other slogans. Or if you were a woman who was just going to use a man for sex, that was a great step forward for the sisterhood. But the fact is that this, I think, is in deep denial about a fact of human nature and a fact about women's natures, which it is important. Let's look at that story that ran in the New Yorker a few months ago, the cat people. Yeah. So it showed, it was fiction, but it told the deep truth. This couple get to know each other through a texting flirtation. They finally go out on a date, and they have sex on the first date, and it's not good sex for her, and she really doesn't like him anymore and has all these mixed feelings. Fine, okay. But then he starts to communicate with her afterwards, and she starts to get these texts that suddenly sound a little frightening and a little bit threatening. What happened there? They had sex, which unleashes passions in the human heart that are sometimes dark, that have to be dealt with, that have to be controlled. And to say that sex is always just a roll in the hay, and it's not, you know, who cares, and everybody should be doing it all the time, and, you know, you don't have to be in a relationship, or the hell with commitment. Well, you know what? We're finding out misery. And it's because I think we're denying something that is real and deep. And if you want to know about it, watch any opera, read literature.
Always ends in tragedy.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not the case across the board in our lives. So speaking of the dark side, right, of man's nature that you argue was largely unleashed by the sexual revolution, although it existed before, but now it was sort of sanctioned by society. On the flip side, right, I don't know. So this is something that is controversial even among kind of women on the right, I think. But so I'm starting to believe that feminism also encourages the worst instincts of women. You write about back in the 70s. I said that feminism encourages the worst instincts or some of the worst natural instincts of women, or amplifies them in some way. You write about in the 70s, and I'd never heard this, these consciousness raising sessions, right? To sort of elevate your consciousness outside of the patriarchy constructed identity that has been left to you. And the title of it, one of them was Bitch Sisters Bitch. I mean, what does feminism, or do you think, I guess the first question would be, do you think that feminism encourages dark instincts in women of, sort of resentment or dissatisfaction? And do you think that there's maybe a parallel there with the worst instincts of men? Different, but both kind of dark sides of human nature.
Well, I do think that feminists, in their hostility to men and in their willingness to tar all men as a problem. So, for example, on most college campuses now, you will hear the phrase "toxic masculinity." This is thought to be the way to deal with rape and sexual assault. Is that we have to sort of bleach this out of men's natures, and if we can do that, then, well, of course, what does that say then? It says that there's something toxic about being a male, and instead of saying,
that's the silencer right there, guys. You heard her. She's telling her research, guys. Like, hear her out, guys. Don't be so quick to jump on her and jump down the neck. She's telling us what she researched and found out about feminism. Straight up. And she told us, up until this point, she told us that it's a whole scam and it's a whole lie. And it's part of the reason why we got 7 out of 10 women running around here angry and mad at the world. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? She's breaking it down, guys. She's telling us, no, remove all of the bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Feminism is that forbidden fruit that a lot of our women have bitten into. You know what I mean? Some of our younger women haven't been nowhere near a bad relationship, a bad dude, a bad situation with a dude, but they identify with it. A lot of our sisters identify with it and don't even know what the fuck they identify with, guys. But they identify with it because so many other women identify with it, so that it's so easy to manipulate our sisters that they identify with it. And that's what's going on, guys. It's sad business. It's nasty work out here, guys. You know what I mean? It's nasty work out here, guys. All you could do, guys, you know what I mean? All you could do, guys, definitely, Tolo, I'm definitely going to open the lines. All you could do, guys, is change the laws of your mind, guys, and think right, and get on your grind. You know what I mean? We have a woman that's telling us that the biggest go along, get along group in our community and in our society is a bunch of bullshit and is a bunch of crap, but yet it's still thriving and it's still able to manipulate our women and manipulate our kids, because that's what they do. You know what I mean? And it's just nothing happens to them. No accountability to that group. I mean, no accountability.
most of you are great people, and we know that, and but a few are bad, and here are the things that we consider bad, and, you know, that's what they are. But to call it toxic masculinity, it just embitters relations between the sexes. I think that one of the things that has caused a backlash, and I don't recommend this, but I had to do it for my research on my book, the Manosphere online, is full of furious, angry men who hate women. It's misogyny on steroids. And it's
wait a minute.
As a problem. So, for example, on most college campuses now, you will hear.
Wait a minute.
It says that there's something toxic about being a male, and you know, instead of saying most of you are great people, and we know that, and but a few are bad, and here are the things that we consider bad, and you know, that's what they are. But just to call it toxic masculinity, it just embitters relations between the sexes. I think that one of the things that has caused a backlash, and I don't recommend this, but I had to do it for my research on my book, the Manosphere online, is full of furious, angry men who hate women. It's misogyny on steroids. And it's partly a reaction to what they...
See, I disagree with that right there, miss. And it's sad because what did you research? What did you look up? You know what I mean? What channel did you go to listen in, to stick your nose in and hear the guys talk like guys? Because women to do that, women gotta understand. Men have been talking like how the guys in the manosphere has been talking for years, guys, for decades. You know what I mean? This is the problem now with social media and the internet. Anybody can come in to our space. Anybody could come into what we got going on. Like any female could have been watching this live today because they free to come in. And when they hear it, it's going to trigger them. Why? Because we live in the gyno land. We live in a land that caters to them. So they keep this type of information away from them. So many guys can get canceled nowadays, you know what I mean? Men, the manosphere is a bunch of men that pay for mistakes. They're a bunch of accountable men that have paid for mistakes and they're speaking on it. It's not angry men. It's not angry men. You know what I mean? And if we are angry, we have a reason to be angry. Like I said, why are you mad? Why are the women angry? Let's ask why the women angry. And she sat there and broke down why the women angry. The women are angry because they identify with feminism. You know what I mean? Feminism promises them that they can have everything that they want because they're a woman. And feminism forgets to tell them that you need 2 incomes to run the household. You know what I mean? And your biology is going to kick you in your ass because you like dick more than men like Pete. You like dick more than men like coochie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the proof is in the pudding, guys. You know what I mean? We might watch a porn and play with ourselves, but these women is the leader of an industry. They got toys. They make all different kind of toys. And these women got them. And they do it. They use them. They make them rich, guys. Everything they market to the women. You know what I mean? That's where our wealth go, guys. You know what I mean? That's where our wealth go, guys. But let's get back to this joint right here. The black manosphere. She said the manosphere. Wow. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was getting good, but then she came out of pocket on that one. I don't know. You know what I mean? She did prove why the men in the manosphere would be angry, but
perceived to be the man-hating feminists. We need to have a lot more appreciation of masculinity that is that the best things about men. So one of the things I was taught that I purposely put into this book were examples of men doing things just because that's how men are. That's the best that men are. So in the Aurora, Colorado theater shooting, when this gunman opened fire on all those people, 4 men put their own bodies over their girlfriends to save their lives, and 3 were killed. On the train in France, when a terrorist came out and was firing on people, 6 men jumped to their feet. They had nothing. They just put their bodies in the way and they went after him. That kind of self-sacrifice, that kind of instinctive protectiveness toward women is exactly the sort of thing that we should honor in men. And that is how you channel, in my judgment, their natural aggression, their natural rambunctiousness, and you channel it toward goodness. So you say, yeah, you have a lot of aggression, but you should be using it to protect the weak. And you should be using it toward good. And not toward, God forbid, hurting women or children, but you're the protector. And I just think that would be a lot healthier if we had more appreciation among feminists for what's noble and best in men.
So I think there's critique from both the right and the left of feminism for this reason. It seems to address the concerns of a small minority of mostly wealthy or upper class, college educated women who have careers rather than jobs, for example. It seems like there are a lot of people who are left out of that. And when you talk about sort of positive role models to masculinity, I think the natural next question is, what happens when boys don't have that? When women don't have those kinds of role models, whether they're husbands or at least, committed boyfriends, somebody who's committed, a man who's committed to helping raise his sons and daughters, but it seems that sons really need that role model. I mean, what has been the impact of feminism on the family for, let's say, probably the majority of people, but people who aren't wealthy, college educated, career oriented. And I think, like I said, I think the left also has that critique. It's called white feminism, right? So I'd be interested to hear your take on that.
One of the feminists that I quoted the book, her critique of Betty Friedan was Bell Hooks, who's one of those Black feminists. But so it's a huge subject. We have created a caste system in America where the upper third, the people who go to college, tend to follow what sociologists call the success sequence. They tend to get educated, get a job, get married, have children in that order. And by the way, they tend to stay married. The statistics about 50% of marriages ending in divorce, not among the educated. They tend to stay married. That wasn't true in 1980, but it has become true in recent decades. Whereas people in the other 2/3 of America, people without college degrees, and especially those who drop out of high school, they tend to have children before they get married. Lots of women in that cohort don't even feel that there are many men around who could be husbands. They look at the men that they see and they're kind of wastrels. They're not earning money, and they're not. I was just talking to a makeup lady just the other day at a TV studio where I was talking about this book, and of course we talked about the topic of my book. And she talked about how hard it is to find a man who is willing to work as hard as she works.
You see? And that's the problem. The opportunity is not there. Remember, they want equal outcome. They want the equal outcome. They're not fighting for the equal opportunity. So if they have to fix the level, if they have to make it an uneven level playing field, that's what they'll do. And that's what they have done. That's what they have done. It's like they have clipped men wings and then looked back and like, go ahead, fly, and told men to fly. You know what I mean? And that's what's going on right now, guys. That's why I say you guys got to take a step back. If you got to go into monk mode, go into monk mode. You know what I mean? Don't complicate common sense. I ain't saying be a monk. I ain't saying go study a monk. I'm saying do what the monks do, which is be by yourself and shake that loneliness, shake that lonely disease. I need a girl. I need a girl. Shake that shit.
And so how did that happen? Well, one of the things that we know is that when boys and girls are raised by single parents, it's much harder on the boys than on the girls. The boys, when they reach adulthood, are much less likely to be employed. They're less likely to go to college or to be ambitious. They're more likely to go to jail. They're more likely to have problems with alcohol and drugs.
These are the facts.
The girls have problems too. They're more compared with girls who grow up with a father and mother, no question. But for boys in particular, the fatherlessness that has been entrenched over the last several decades has been devastating. And it's a vicious cycle because they didn't grow up with a male role model. They didn't grow up with the unique things that fathers bring into the picture. So
don't
therefore
dance
they're not
around
able to step up
Don't
and
you
be
dare dance
kind of
around
pillars of families themselves. Let me talk for just a minute about some of the uniqueness of fathering and mothering, because I stress this because
all right, but you danced around it. The mothers, the BMTs, the hell of a mothers, they perpetuate that cycle. They perpetuate that vicious cycle when they take on this, I gotta prove a point. You know what I mean? They alienate the father, or they don't work out with the father, but they don't allow their kid to go to the father because they want to prove a point, because they mad at the father. the father cheated, whatever the case may be, it's between them two personally, and then they use the kid. You know what I mean? And that happens, guys, more often than not, guys. Remember, only 17% of dads are running off from their kids. That's documented. While 80% of dads is going back and forth to court. You see, we want to talk about the 17% of runoffs that been runoffs. You know what I mean? They was runoffs before the women had the kids with them. But we talk about those guys. They always mention that. But they never talk about the 80% of guys that's back and forth to court, missing days, want their kid. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
I think we've gotten away from that, and it's really interesting. So fathers and mothers bring different things to parenting, and one of the things that has been noticed in the literature is that fathers have a natural tendency to roughhouse with their little boys. And it turns out that the roughhousing is incredibly important for a boy's development of self-control. That if they don't get that, they don't learn how to moderate their aggressiveness, and they don't learn a lot of really when to stop. And they don't learn some really important lessons about life that then can get them into trouble as they get to be adolescents and big. And
exactly, guys. Without that roughhousing, they grow up in life as a pussy, all right? They grow up in life as a pussy, guys, all right? This is what that whole bullying campaign did. It weakened our kids, yo. You know what I mean? It weakened our kids. It taught them how to run from confrontation. You know what I mean? And then we live in a world where you have to stand up to confrontation. You got to stand up for confrontation. You got to be non-agreeable. You know what I mean? If you always agreeable, then you're not gonna make a lot. You're not gonna earn a lot. You know what I mean? You always want to go through confrontation. You know what I mean? Guys, that's rule number one. You stand up for yourself. And that's what roughhousing do. You know what I mean? But when you remove the dad from the crib, the son don't get none of that. What you get is a bunch of TikTok videos and the son do. That's what you get. You know what I mean?
so forth. Also, children who have a father in their home, who grow up with their fathers, have a lot more, boys and girls, have much more self-confidence, are much readier to face the world than children who don't. And again, the boys are looking for ratification of their manliness, often in bad ways, when they don't have a father.
So we're talking now about the needs of boys, but to what extent, especially as a mother, do you find that ideas of strict equality that feminism brings to the table and the attendant problems, or arguably attendant problems with family breakdown, how much of that is the needs of adults, or I shouldn't even say the needs, the desires of adults, slamming into the concrete needs of children and families?
Yeah, well, the first thing that kids need is married parents. You know, that is overwhelmingly the thing they need. So if you work, you don't work, whatever, if your parents are married, the kids are more likely than not to turn out just great. But regarding the whole family balance thing, one of the reasons that I wanted to write this book is that
Yo, it's a reason why God told y'all dumb bitches to wait until y'all married to have kids. It's a reason why he told y'all that, guys. It's a reason why he told us that too. It's a reason why he told us not to give our seed to these dumb bitches until they was worthy enough for us to marry them, yo. You know what I mean? And that's the problem nowadays, yo. A lot of us running from that. A lot of us ain't do what I did and just say, you know what, Father, you right. I fucked up here. And you know what? You fool me once, joke's on me. You won't catch me again. And that's what we need to do, guys. You know what I mean? Those of y'all that's in that situation, that's all you need to do. You know what I mean? Wash your hands, be done with it.
I felt really happy with my own choice to cut back when my kids were young. This made me happy. I loved being a mother. It's not for everyone, but a lot of women agree with me, and I have the data in the book. Women have a choice. For example, 76% of married women.
Plain and simple, women were happier back then, guys. Women were way happier back then. When they weren't competing with men, when women were competing with other women, you know what I mean? When they were competing with other women about womanly things, about who decorate the house the best, who make the biggest cakes, who make the best cakes, when they were competing like that, that's when they was happy. When they were able to come out, wake up, and make everybody in the house breakfast, walk the kids to the school bus, come back in, clean up the crib, watch all my children, chill. That's when they was happy. Talk on the phone to their homegirls, a bunch of shit, then go get the kid. That's when they was happy right there. Why would you not be happy, right? Your guy, he scores the points, and you go, you know what I mean? He builds the house, and you make it a home. How can you not be happy with that? Why you want to front like you happy because you chose to get your own build on? You chose to buy the house. You chose to buy the house. And then y'all gonna make it a home. Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's sad, guys. It's sad. But I'm gonna wrap it up right there, guys. You know what I mean? I'm gonna wrap it up right there. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I hope you guys got the message, you know what I mean? And I hope you guys get it for what it is, guys. 71% of women is straight up trash, man. And they call us calling it out. They call us speaking our truth as bash. You know what I mean? Men don't bash women. And we don't hate women. You know what I mean? We don't hate women. We don't like bad behavior. And that's what it is. You see, these women for a long time have been used to pushing bad behavior in front of us and thinking we're a fool, we're Bobo the Clown, you know what I mean? Like a bung us in the head. Like, no. You know what I mean? A lot of guys, more and more guys are getting to this education and they get into this wisdom. And, you know what I mean? You can forget about it, shorty. Ain't nobody, you can't beat guys in the head no more, guys, shorty. You might as well come on down to the truth, because the truth heals. The truth don't hurt. The truth heals. All right? And it's been real, guys. Appreciate you, yo. Salute to everybody that's tuned in. Salute to everybody watching. Tolo. What's up, Tolo?
From Harlem, New York. Put your cigarettes out and pull your panties out. Put your hands together. Mr. Good Friend.